Are there other tools that people can use besides therapy? So this is how I explain therapy. Therapy is like when you're about to build a house, the foundation of the house, the rooting of the house is therapy. Now, therapy is there to help you go back to the past, to understand it and empower you into a better future. I've been hearing quite a number of people say, oh, therapy didn't work for me. Therapy doesn't work. I don't believe in therapy. I've heard some of that, and I can understand different things. Some people have had terrible experiences with therapists. I remember somebody saying to me, oh, the therapist I went to see, I believe that I even knew more than her. And I laughed. Now, the truth is that you might see some terrible people out there who say they're therapists. I mean, you can't do a $10 course on Udemy and then start to call yourself a therapist. I'm sorry. But it is what it is. You've got to have invested some money and time, in training to be a very good therapist, especially when you're playing with things like neuro-linguistic programming and hypnotherapy and all of that. You've got to really, really learn it to be able to deploy it, right? It's not that you did a course on this and then now you're a life coach or you're not in that place to help anybody heal, because most times you even haven't healed yourself. You've just learned the lingua franca. You just know the words to say to people when they come to meet you. Doesn't mean that you know exactly what it would do for them, right? So that's number one. So yes, you might have gone through some experiences about therapy, but I promise you this work you cannot do on your own, because the same ingredient that got you into something cannot take you out. You need somebody who has a bigger eye, a bird's eye view, because it's called a blind spot for a reason. Some people, you can't see, it exists, but you can't see it because you're blinded, But someone on the outside can quickly press their horn and say, you're about to hit something, because they can see it, and that's what it is. So therapy is that foundation. However, therapy is that's not your beginning and your end. Therapy is the beginning, because the deeper you root, the higher you rise. And so that's the first thing. So I always tell people, therapy, therapy, therapy. Now, off the back of that, when you're done with that, so many other practices exist, but you are in a more receptive and open space to take it. I have courses. I used to tell people to go for my courses if they cannot afford my working with me. But I realized that when they go and do the courses, which they don't even do all of because we're not disciplined to follow through with these things, therapy would have given them a basis to build upon, right? Not going to go and do a course first. The courses are great, but they need to sit on something, right? When I started doing courses, I realized that they were not healing me. I needed to go for therapy as I was doing the course. And so that's when it started to sit better on me, because now the hole that was in my heart had been filled. Okay? So there's meditation. You can meditate. Oh, I meditate every day. I find things, to be grateful for every day, which is journaling. Some people write, I say it. I don't write it anymore as much as I used to, but I write love letters to myself. I write 1 year letter from now. I write commitment letters to myself. There's so many things. I speak into the mirror, so I do mirror work. There's so many things. There's the soul to soul connection. There's the energy work. I do that a lot as well, tracing on my meridians. And, I'm very big on doing the things that can help me function as a human being and get me into a place of stability and peace. Okay? So there's all of that. There's also having a good community of people who are also on the same journey as you. Because even if you're on a fantastic journey, if you went back home to people who only saw the problems in the world and who were critical and demoralizing and blaming you for everything and guilt trip, you're going to go back into the same space. So you need a community of people that you can go to, and that's why they started all those AA communities to help addicts to go through it. And you hear them say, my name is and I am this. and then everybody comes and supports them. You need support. You need a strong, trusted support system. Even if it's one person, two people that you can call for anything and everything. If you're married, some people say, oh, I can't have that kind of thing with my husband or wife. You don't have to. But find your support system. Of course, it's the best case scenario, but if they're not open to it, then find your support elsewhere, which is something that I do a lot. I find support in all the places that I need it. But once again, trusted people. Don't go and hang out with people who have nothing to lose. Don't surround yourself with those kinds of people. Don't surround yourself with people who says your dreams are too big. You can't achieve it. The you that I know. And that can be coming from your mother or your father or your siblings, because they've never seen you more than the smallness that they've seen. Meanwhile, you are like a giant, right? Find a good support system of people who love you genuinely and want you to really, really grow. So that as iron sharpens iron, you are there for them. Don't forget, you've got to be it first. As you are there for them, they're there for you. And that circle and cycle continues. And when you break some of those patterns, those negative patterns, you become a better person also for your spouse when you decide to marry, or your friendships when you have them, or your children when you have them. You begin to become a better person. And with meditation and visualization, you tell your nervous system that all is well. There's something that I do, and I'll teach you just by putting your hand on your chest and tapping in between your fourth and your fifth finger, just on your heart chakra, and just tap it and just leave it there for a bit. And you see how you feel comforted after a while. There's so many things, but you've got to learn them. If you don't know, ignorance is not an excuse anymore. You've got to learn them. You've got to embody them. You've got to put in the work daily. It's not you do it month 1, then you do it again month 6. It's a daily repetitive action that you're going to have to keep doing to becoming a better version of yourself. There is no human being on earth that is 100% healed, my sisters and brothers. Even the people that we all look up to, the Tony Robbins nobody is 100% healed. But a Tony Robbins is 100% healing, which means that it's a continuous process for everybody. I don't think anybody has gotten to a place where they say, I don't need any mentors again. I don't need coaches. I don't need anybody. I just know. In fact, Jesus said, I know more than him. Or God, I don't need. It's impossible. You're going to have to always need people, because you're going from level to level, which means that we transition in every stage of our lives. And you will need people who can help you through those transitions of life, right? Don't do life by yourself when you can do it in the company of other people. Don't allow the lack of trust that you have for people stop you from having beautiful relationships. Don't allow that person that hurt you and we say broke your heart, even if your heart isn't broken, but it feels like it. Don't allow people that stopped you from loving or didn't love you stop you from expressing yourself and being in absolute love. If I meet you the first 3 days, in fact, if you are I'll start to tell you, I love you. My cousin says that I'm 419, that that I like to fool people. But the truth is, I do love people. And I say it openly, unapologetically, at every point in time. So guys, please start with therapy. Start with somebody who can really help you. Look for people, do some research, and do some due diligence. Some questions you can ask the therapist before you spend time with them is, do you have a therapist yourself? Ask them, this thing that you're selling to me, have you done it for yourself? What did it do for you? Ask them those questions. Ask them, do you have a certificate to show me what you've done before? Ask them those things. Who are your mentors? Ask them. Don't take everything that we say and say, oh, my therapist said. I don't know everything. And I will only most likely tell you what worked for me. But it might not 100% work for you. So you're going to be taking some from me and adding a lot of you into it for us to make it happen. Because my role is not to tell you what to do, but to empower you enough so that you know what road to take. Don't go and get a therapist or a coach that feels like Jesus and they're your savior. They're not. The answers come from you, and the solutions are really also in you. All they're doing is helping you pull it out and replaying back to you so that you know. Okay? So maybe that would help so that you don't feel too bad and your secrets are safe, to be honest. But if you had to choose between keeping a secret or somebody telling your secret to the world and you being healed, which one would you choose? So don't play small when you can play like a giant. Don't do that to yourself. You're the one that is going to be suffering it. When you could have been an alligator, why do you want to play like a lizard? Why? When you could have been a lion, why do you want to play like a kitten? And everybody has the capacity of being a lion. You just don't touch it, you don't know it, or you're damn lazy. And so let's remove all those things from you, the laziness, not knowing it, and just focus on being the great person that you are. Okay? Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Episode 9, loading. The story continues.